Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Spitter Swallow. I am your host, the Sultan of Spitter Swallow, the Pornhub Poppy, Daddy Delgado, aka SES Vince. We are the YouTube exclusive show from the Smackin podcast. You can join the SOS Society by hitting that subscribe button at youtube.com/creationworld. We are back from our WrestleMania hiatus, so kudos to that. Kudos to our guest because he's the one that kind of like set this up because I didn't initially have something planned for Money in the Bank, but here we are. We're here to talk about Money in the Bank during the conversation by using the hashtag SpitterSwallow or hashtag SOS. Click the hashtag at your own risk. My guest, he is the patron saint of podcasting, America's sweetheart, and my co-host from the Smackin podcast, the Warden, Matt Ritter. How are you doing, Matt?
Who said you're the Pornhub Poppy?
I can say I'm the Pornhub Poppy because this is my show.
I'm looking right now and it says race for Pornhub Poppy, Vince 17, Katie 17.
Okay, so
you're just out here deciding that you won already and the year's only halfway over?
I have to manifest it, man. I have to try to manifest it into the universe. You got to believe in yourself.
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. How are you, Vince?
I'm good. I had a great Sunday, great pre-4th of July weekend. Nothing to celebrate here in America, because like fuck America, right now. Love the Pro Wrestling Pro Choice shirt. Go ahead and plug that real quick, Matt, before we get started.
Yeah, up on our Teespring store, we have these Pro Wrestling Pro Choice t-shirts that you see right here. The design was done by Jizzy, formerly of the Deadass Girls, good friend of the show, and all of the money that is made from these shirts is being donated to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project, something that we decided to do, seeing as the Supreme Court decided that women didn't deserve to have rights. So we want to make sure that women have access to adequate medical health care should they need to, and that the programs that offer that are funded, because now my wife was just telling me that a 10-year-old girl in Texas was denied an abortion.
What?
In really? Texas. That is correct. Yeah, 10 years old. And these are the things that are going to happen when you take away a woman's right to get an abortion and allow the state to choose it, where it doesn't matter the age of the person, doesn't matter the health condition of the person, it doesn't matter if the pregnancy is going to kill them. If the state says you can't do it, you can't do it. You're screwed. And that is why we are pro wrestling, pro choice, because it's every woman's right to choose whether or not she wants to carry that child, regardless of whether we are pro or anti-abortion. Personally, we don't get to decide for everyone else what they should be. Everyone should get their choice. And that is the whole point of this campaign, is to make sure that those women that choose to get and seek healthcare, reproductive health care, are able to do so in a safe manner. So please go buy a shirt. It's a really great design. And again, all that money gets donated to the Women's Reproductive Rights Project. And if you don't get one from us, get it from Katie over at She Leads Showcase. She's donating to Planned Parenthood. So both great causes, both similar goals in mind. Same t-shirt. You get ours in gray and hers in black, or however you want to do it. We've got a variety of colors available. Just pick up a shirt and make a donation. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't say it better myself. Also, before we get started, I also do want to give a shout out to Matt from a pro wrestling podcast with Matt and Friends, not this Matt, We were supposed to have double the mats, but unfortunately, it wasn't able to happen. This unfortunately doesn't pay the bills, so we have to get real jobs. So Matt got stuck at work. Hopefully, we can bring him on to the SummerSlam Spirit Swallow and get something going. It was a bit of a clusterfuck, but hopefully we were able to like link up with Matt.
Absolutely. I know you've been dreaming about getting double penetrated by two mats all week, so I'm sorry I couldn't manifest that for you.
It's
sorry
okay.
I couldn't make that
It's
happen.
all right. We'll manifest a lot of things on today's episode. Instead of the traditional recap, like a traditional pay-per-view wrestling recap, we're gonna start following the new Smackin' the Raw format, which is something that I was trying to implement. So like me and Matt, like we're on the same page with that. And what we're gonna be doing is just giving our spits and our swallows from Money in the Bank and just skip whatever we just didn't really care for. So with that
So
being said, Matt,
fun fact.
yes.
I was listening back to our latest episode, and I also came to kind of a conclusion. I don't know if you want to do that here, how you want to do it, but I decided instead of doing spits and or swallow, like, oh, where do you want to start? Swallows, and then doing all the swallows. I'm just gonna make the show a fucking free for all because you don't care anyway. You just do it. I'm sitting there and you're like, can I spit SmackDown? I'm like, dude, we literally just started swallows. And you're like, I want to spit the whole SmackDown. Like, you don't care, and I'm not gonna try and reel you in anymore. So you know what? I'll just be like, let's get started with our spits and swallows, and then I'll pick someone and they can start with a spit or a swallow, and that's where we're going from now on. I am not going to try and corral you
funny?
inmates. What?
Now that you're like, oh, I'm not gonna try to reel Vincent, I'm not gonna try to corral everything. I'm like, I'm gonna fall in line more to what your original plan is.
Oh, really? Is that how that works?
Not intentionally, but I feel like that's how that's gonna go. So
interesting.
We'll see.
I could be mind fucking you. Maybe that's what I wanted.
Mind fucking is one way to considering it. Okay, Matt, you're the guest on here.
I am.
You're not hosting. Hey, that kind of looks like an urn almost.
No. So when I went to the or what is it? The Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo. So C2E2. That's what it is. C2E2. Wow.
Why did it take you so long to get to C2E2?
Dude, because I was thinking ECC, which is the fucking community college out here by me, which is close to it. But they had these for sale. They were selling all different kinds of soft drinks. It's Wild Bill's root beer, and it's just a metal fucking mug. I've got some no sugar Mountain Dew in it, and it keeps everything cold and delicious.
Oh, sweet. You should pick one up for me, and then we'll link up.
Oh yeah,
we'll call it an even exchange.
Okay.
Yeah, call it an even exchange. I'll get you another signed Aleister Black t-shirt, and then you give me one of those. So
I'll give you a shirt that you can sign that I actually fit in. So
there you go, even better. Okay, Matt. Let's start things off with you. Do you want to go with your first spit or your first swallow of Money in the
Bank? I'm gonna start off with the first match of Money in the Bank, and overall, it was a spit for me. The women's Money in the Bank match itself was a spit. However, I am swallowing the ending, the winner. Like I was happy to see Liv win for two parts. One, I get to wear a shirt on this recap, and I'm not topless. So
I thought you were looking forward to going on the podcast topless. So
I mean, listen.
How's that?
I'm gonna be if I'm gonna say that I'm gonna come on the podcast topless, I'm gonna sound confident about coming on the podcast topless, but I didn't really want to come on the podcast topless. No.
Yeah, you and others have been proponents to make me go shirtless, specifically Jesus. I feel like, but you want me to go topless, but you won't go topless. Make that.
I was going to. I agreed to do it, and should Shotzi have won, I would have been here topless.
Okay, all right. Well, Shotzi should have won, so you could have been here topless.
But she didn't. Liv Morgan won, and Liv winning is a swallow, but the match was sloppy. Like this was not the best women's Money in the Bank match we saw. They botched a lot. I'm not going to say Shotzi botched. I'm going to blame everyone around Shotzi for Shotzi's botches because Shotzi is fantastic and can do no wrong.
Right.
But like I'm pretty sure Raquel moved that ladder when Shotzi tried to run up it, and that's why she tripped on it. And like it was everyone else's fault. It wasn't Shotzi's fault. But it really was not the best put together women's Money in the Bank match that we have ever seen. We've seen some bangers. Normally the women steal the show the last couple of years, and this one kind of shit the bed for me.
I mean, if you kind of look at the participants themselves, like people like Lacey Evans, Raquel Rodriguez. Yeah, that's her last name now, right? Rodriguez?
Yes.
Raquel, just Raquel. Shotzi does no wrong in your eyes. Liv, Who else was in that match?
Alexa
Alexa,
Bliss, Asuka, and Becky.
Oscar, and Becky. All right. I mean, maybe sometimes the pieces just don't fit. You know, sometimes it's not even like anyone's fault. Sometimes it's just like the right pieces don't mix. Maybe there just wasn't any chemistry. I know. I don't know for a fact that it didn't seem like Shotzi had chemistry with a few people on there. Not through
Completely those people's fault, not
through
Shotzi's
no
fault.
fault of her own. Through
Yeah,
no
no. If
fault
they
of
were
her own.
better, we wouldn't have had an issue.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with you. I'm also swallowing Liv Money Morgan winning the match. Long deserved. Best possible winner other than Shotzi. It was either her or Shotzi that I thought should have won. But I am spitting the match. I thought it was there. It was fine. It wasn't the worst Money in the Bank match, but I will say that. Do you want to transition to what happened later, or do you want to like
It's your show, bro. You're in charge.
Fuck it, yeah, like that's where I'm transitioning. That's my next swallow is Liv cashing in and becoming the champion. Um, but there's also some spits in there too. There's some caveat spits. So I'm spitting Liv's little to no offense in that whole sequence. She won through a roll up, which is fine. It's fine, but it's like they were doing it in a way to keep Ronda strong, and then afterwards, where she tried to like hand over the title, like a passing of the torch type thing, and she like hugs her, it's like you deserve it type shit. Like, no, that makes no sense. Like, if you're a competitor, I don't care if someone deserves to be champion. You just screwed me out of like my championship. You took advantage of my injury. I'm not gonna be happy for you just beating me for that title, you know. So I thought that was illogical. That made no sense, and it just like put a little bit of a spotlight on Ronda more so because of the way the match was constructed and the way the post match stuff with Ronda. I just didn't personally like, and
Okay.
Nothing against Liv, but I'm kind of over the women Money in the Bank winners cashing in the same night or like the next night or like actually the only women's Money in the Bank holder that's actually held there for a while and he's used it as a character builder or as like a story developer something is Carmella with that briefcase. And I want to see someone actually hold that briefcase and actually tease cashing it in, but actually do it right, you know? But I'm happy for Liv. I don't know. Where do you stand on that whole thing?
Spitting Natalia versus Ronda as a whole. Allow me to give you a little perspective on something that I read as far as the ending of Liv's win there, which again, big swallow. I'm happy that Liv is SmackDown Women's Champion. And I agree. I do wish they would allow the women to hold the Money in the Bank longer than, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever the case is, not cashing in. I was there when Alexa cashed it in 2018. I think Bailey cashed it in 2019, same night. 2020 was the pandemic, right? Wasn't that the pandemic one?
Yes.
And that Asuka got it the next night because she had won it when they did the fucking tower bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I don't even remember who the Money in the Bank winner last year was.
It was Nikki ASH.
Oh yeah, it was Nikki, and she cashed in.
And she cashed in the night after.
Yeah. So
it's like they've have a history of like the women's Money in the Bank holder cashing in that same night, and it's like
and it hasn't been around that long.
It hasn't, and my whole question is Ronda going to take a break, and that's why they took the title off of her? Was that like a last minute thing?
So I don't think Ronda had long-term plans to stay in WWE. I think she came back for what she's doing. Mm-hmm. What I read was Ronda said that she didn't actually want to be champion. WWE decided to put the belt on her, and she said that there is one caveat. If they want to make her champion, she wants to lose it to the person that she considers the most passionate woman on the roster, which is Liv Morgan. So that was something that she wanted. So the way I look at it is Ronda is a UFC competitor at heart. That is who she is. That's where she came from. She went into Money in the Bank knowing that defending her belt there made her vulnerable for a cash in. She realized that she knew it was coming. It's not that you screwed me over. This is when you are champion and you defend your belt at that pay-per-view. Like, this is one of the risks you take, and you know it is a possibility that it is coming. So I feel like she tried to fight Liv. Liv got the best of her, and then she's a babyface, so she's legit happy for Liv. I kind of look at it like at the end of Ring of Honor matches when, you know, people shake hands, even whether they like each other or not. Like, Liv has been working hard for this, and Ronda acknowledged it. It's like, yeah, you know what? You got the better of me. So
I don't think
cool.
I saw a single person like complain about Liv Morgan winning. I saw like my timeline was filled with so many wrestlers, coworkers, other people from different promotions, fans, just being so happy and congratulating Liv. So that just kind of shows you who she is as a person, honestly. But you mentioned the SmackDown Women's Championship title match. I didn't care one bit. It's part of my spits, but I'm not even spitting it. I'm walking away from the low, just like John Cena walked away from Austin Theory's selfie attempt on Monday Night Raw. I'm just sidestepping it. I just didn't care. It literally, like, and I hate to do it when it's a women's match because I want to support the women, but I don't care for Natalya and I don't care for Ronda Rousey. So I was using that time to sweep and mop and like clean my living room while I was playing in the background.
Fair enough. I agree. I spit it too.
All right, Matt. Next, what are you spitting or swallowing next?
I'm swallowing probably the best match of the night, the men's tag team match.
Agreed.
Despite what my co-host, Daddy Delgado, said on our podcast on Friday. Wow, hold on. About wanting I'm choking on your bullshit. Wanting Montez Ford and main event Jey Uso to go on a singles run. For a very long time, WWE has been a 2 tag team main roster division in the New Day, in the Usos. They put on the best matches, they show out. They are the pinnacle of WWE tag team wrestling, and they're the ones that get the light. And we saw a third tag team enter that main event tag team limelight that is being held by the Usos and the New Day with the Street Profits here. Like,
yes,
they put on a match that we have only seen from those 2 other tag teams. Like, they tore it the fuck down. They stole the show, and they did it without gimmicks. They did it without bullshit. Like, they just went out there and fucking wrestled a tag team match and killed it. So what I wanted to call you on Friday, but I didn't think of it till afterwards, since you want to just break up all the tag teams, instead of Mexican Vince McMahon, was Mariachi McMahon. So from now on, every time I hear you try and break up tag teams for shits and giggles, I'm going to refer to you as Mariachi McMahon.
Mariachi McMahon. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's one thing. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm also swallowing the tag team title match. It stole the show. You stole the words right out of my mouth. They stole the show. I thought they were fantastic. All 4 competitors. Like, Angelo Dawkins had moment. Did I mishear that, or did he like yell out and the camera caught him saying, "I'm no Jannetty, I'm not Marty Jannetty," or something like that?
That I didn't catch. I did catch Montez Ford saying "fuck" after the match.
Yeah.
To the commentary when he was like, why did they stop the match? Why the fuck did they stop the match? When he was yelling at Pat McAfee and Cole. That I caught. I did not catch Angelo saying "I'm no Marty Jannetty." But you know what? If he did, shout out, because I told you that is this generation's D'Lo Brown for me. That man is underrated. Everyone looks at him as, oh, I want to see Montez. Like, what about it? What about Angelo? He is not the weak link of that tag team, ladies and gentlemen. This man is good.
I've seen so much strides in him. I'll say that. And he was down in NXT for a while before he got paired up with Montez and they started the Street Profits. You talked about the finish. I didn't notice the finish at first. I thought they fucked up. Maybe like Montez was supposed to kick out, or it was just like, okay, well, that was anticlimactic. I guess like, well, who else is gonna step up to the Usos now? But then they showed the replay 2 or 3 times, and they finally showed that his shoulders were actually up, and that's why Montez didn't kick out. How do you feel about the finish? Obviously, do you feel like this is going to a rematch at SummerSlam? Like,
oh, absolutely. I think it's going to go to a rematch at SummerSlam, and I think it should. Listen, like I said, it was the best match of the night, and I'd love to see them do it again, and maybe this time with a gimmick in place so that they could take what they did to the next level and do something special with it for those tag team titles. I want to see them stay together. I want to see Street Profits take those titles off the Usos, as long as they stay away from Matt Riddle. If you decide to keep buddying and palling around with Matt Riddle, I'm gonna revoke that.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I think it was a great way to finish the match. It fooled everybody. It fooled me. I'm like, you and I are both watching at home. We didn't see it until they played it back, and they're like, oh, his shoulder was up. Like,
it was a good way to like set up a rematch without just being, oh, we're just gonna do a rematch just cause. No,
yeah.
I like that there was something in place. All right. Next up, I'm gonna go ahead and swallow Lashley dominating Theory at certain points. If so, like the scene from the Avengers, they always get skipped and replayed where like Hulk just like ragdolls Loki. That's kind of felt like at certain points of this match what Lashley was doing to Theory. This was surprisingly better than what I expected. I had zero expectations for this match, and it superseded my expectations maybe because they were so low. That's why that happened. But I enjoyed the match. I thought it was good. I was surprisingly like shocked that Lashley actually picked up the title here over Austin Theory. But given the events of what happened to close off the show and him being added to the men's Money in the Bank match, it makes all the sense in the world. But what are your thoughts on the match?
So I said on Friday that Theory should lose the title. I thought Cena was going to come out and interfere. Mind you, we had an insider tell us that there was a very good chance John Cena was in the building.
Right.
So we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
But
whoever this insider is.
Yeah, maybe very good chance John Cena may be in the building. We did not see him. I heard the plans got delayed for whatever was going on with them. But I said that if they're going to do John Cena Theory, they need to take the belt off Theory. I don't want to see John Cena Theory for the U.S. title. I don't see a point in putting the U.S. title back on Cena or, making it a title feud. Yeah, like there's no reason to tie that title up in a feud with John Cena.
Forget even tying the title up in the feud with John Cena. They run the risk of doing something where we're feuding with Cena, but it's not for the title, but he's still the U.S. champion, and we're just holding hostage the U.S. title, and when someone else can use it. So there's that. So I agree with you there.
But I did love the fact that Bobby Lashley won because of that, because we got the belt off Theory. And as we'll talk about later in the night, that led to some fantastic things happening for me personally.
Oh, yeah, exactly. It all worked out.
It really did.
It all worked out for you. Matt, where do you want to take us next?
I
think there's only 2 matches left, if I'm not mistaken.
You know what? Let me take a look here. I actually wrote down some notes, and I want to see.
Because I have my notes, but I'm waiting for you.
Let's see. Let's talk about the package.
Yes.
The possibly Edge, possibly people were saying Bray Wyatt, but probably not Bray Wyatt. Ominous video package that they played. It got me excited because it felt, and again, because it felt very much in line with what Matt Ritter enjoys in his wrestling. We saw church windows and crosses and graves and candles. We also saw a gold medal, Hardy Boy wristbands, Devon Dudley, Bubba Ray Dudley-esque glasses, and a license plate from Texas that said Latino Heat.
Right.
I also saw some similarities to some of Edge's Titantrons in there. The candles with the Brood, the shadow on the brick wall from the You Think You Know Me, that whole thing. I am not going to say I thought it was Edge going right off the bat. Honestly, I only noticed the gold medal and I thought it was going to be Gable Stevenson. Gable Stevenson.
Whatever.
Because weird ass fucking name. But no, somebody brought up all those things that relate to Edge, and I think it makes perfect fucking sense. And I've watched it back, and you see a guy that's walking around that's generally Edge's stature and frame, and as far as I know, he wasn't hurt when they took him out. So whether it's a promo for Edge returning at SummerSlam or it's whatever Edge's new gimmick is going to be when he returns after getting kicked out of the Sexecutioners, I'm intrigued and interested, and I think it'll be cool. So
all right. Yeah. Same here. I was intrigued. It was kind of short but sweet. In my head, the first thing I thought about, Bray. That's the first thing that went into my
A lot of
mind.
people.
Then when I went to Twitter, I saw Wrestle Votes. I don't know if you follow Wrestle Votes or not, but I sometimes follow them. And they're like, don't get too excited about the vignette package or whatever. Then I saw all the stuff like the gold medal, the Eddie Guerrero license plate. I didn't even see the Hardys and Dudley stuff until after the fact. In my head, I'm like, could they just be announcing the WWE 2K23? You know, like it
Yeah.
could be something like because I'd be excited if it was Edge, but in my head, I thought about okay, don't get yourself too excited. What could it be? Oh, the next WWE video game.
I really hope they don't do that though. Like what I'm saying is I hope they don't do WWE 2K23.
Right.
There's nothing
Okay.
wrong with 2K22 stuff still coming. Like, do what you did and wait 2 years and do it every 2 years so that you can take some time to work on and develop it so you're not banging out shit just to get shit out on a deadline.
Right. Right.
But also so we have time to fucking enjoy what you've given. Like that is the one thing I've always hated about WWE video games is especially within the last what has it been decade where they're dropping a
Decade
new one
plus. Yeah.
every fucking year. You just start to get to enjoy one and get settled in, and then boom, there's another one, and now you're doing that and you've got to start from scratch with a brand new game, recreate everything,
Yeah.
start all over. You can't import any of the shit. Like
The issue I think it happened because they were following the sports model, and the sports video game model is release a new game every year. And a lot of complaints on sports video game gamers is that it's the same shit from every year. It's the same shit every year, right? It's just they just change the controls and make you think it's a different game. Update the roster and like if they could somehow update the roster within the 2 year span, I'd be all for it. But they went down that slippery slope when it came to SmackDown versus Raw, because then the sequel to that was SmackDown vs. Raw 2006. Then they went 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Then it became WWE 12, 13, 14, and then they went to the 2K.
we're going on 20 years of them doing this dumb shit.
Yeah, they only skipped the 1 year, and that's only because 2K20 was so trash that they had to. It was like the worst game that came out like ever, maybe.
I think SmackDown versus Raw, maybe SmackDown versus Raw 06 was the last game I played until like WWE 13.
Okay. Yeah.
So I didn't play, I don't think anything between them,
Okay.
if I remember correctly. But and then I've played pretty much everyone since, unfortunately. But yeah, no, I really hope it's not 2K23. I'd much rather have it be something cool for Edge because again, they absolutely can update the rosters. Like right now, they could be working on character models to upload and drop into the game in packages as
You know
time
what?
goes on and
They
fill
can
out the
just do like
roster.
alternate skins. You know how they always drop like DLCs of like alternate versions? Just like have it be an alternate skin, you know?
What always pisses me off is that you can't like actually edit the wrestler. Like,
Yes.
I hate that. Like, I want to go in and I want to make Kane black and green and put him in DX. Like,
I think the last game I was able to do that was WWF No Mercy. And that was fun. That was fun because I was actually able to remove Kane's mask. It's a whole thing. Okay, we're rambling over into like a wrestling video game podcast. Let's go to my next swallow, and it was short but sweet. But I'm swallowing the Raw Women's Title match. It was better than expected. You know, shout out to Mella. I was a little it was a little anticlimactic when she was the replacement, but she looked good, not only aesthetically but in the ring. She did a really good job to make herself feel like close to the level or like worthy of a championship match against Bianca. So kudos to her, shout out to her. And the post match beatdown, I thought they really did tease like, oh, this is where Liv is going to cash in. I thought that's where she was going to cash in, and so that's where in my mind I'm like, oh, Liv might cash in tonight started, but they laid the groundwork and planted the seeds to, if they wanted to, continue this feud, because with the post-match beatdown and everything, they could do a stipulation match at SummerSlam or like play this off at like the United Kingdom show. So there's avenues that they can take this where they can set up a rematch. But what do you think of the Raw Women's Title match? Spitting, swallowing?
I agree with everything you just said. I was saying on our show, people give Carmella so much shit, and I don't get it. Like when she needs to turn it on, she turns it on, and I mean, we've seen her wrestle like not great matches, but like really good matches. Like we know she can go when she needs to go. It's just WWE doesn't always have her going. Like she doesn't always need to go, and she's not one of those wrestlers that I feel like is gonna go hard all of the time just because. Like if you give her something to really sink her teeth into and enjoy like she's doing now, then yeah, you're gonna get the best of Carmella. If you give her something stupid where she's wearing a mask and trying to avoid fighting, then you're not going to get a lot out of her. Like it is what it is.
Yeah. Because okay, think about all the gimmicks. Like let's sit here and appreciate Carmella for a bit. She started off as the Princess of Staten Island, basically like being the third member of like the Enzo and Cass stuff, which she knocked out of the bag.
When taking the third member from Enzo and Cass. Well, at least from Cass.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Then then she gets called up to SmackDown. It's not hitting the same. She turns heel, and she works great as a heel. And then as part of like the whole Melis Money with James Ellsworth stuff, that all worked fantastically. It's all fantastic. And then there was the whole
except for James Ellsworth, he sucked.
Well, like him as a being person. As a person, yes. But the whole act was good. Then her whole the whole stuff with R-Truth, fantastic. Even though
great.
Even though they stopped and finished the whole the new like gimmick she was doing with like the silhouette and everything, that was still good. They just didn't do anything with it.
It confused the fuck out of me, but I enjoyed it. Like my thing is, I feel like Carmella is one of those girls, and she's kind of come out and said it. Like she doesn't consider herself a wrestler. She says there's nothing wrong with being a diva. She looks at herself as a diva. She wants to be a diva, and that goes back to the whole conversation we had about divas and how people think that women only can be one or the other. They can't be both, and blah blah blah. That I'm not going to get into here. We've had that discussion. Point is, Carmella's always considered herself a diva, and that is not an insult or a slight in any way, shape, or form. It's just how the kind of character that she likes to portray, and no, she's fantastic.
It's one of the reasons why when Mandy Rose got like sent over to NXT 2.0, then she won the NXT Women's title. There were so many people like, oh, it's the Divas title. Oh, get the title off the Diva. Like it used to be like the women's wrestling show. I'm like, she took leaps and bounds. She like improved so much. Like, yeah, she's not gonna sit here and put out like 5-star classics, but she doesn't need to. Not everyone needs to be like this technical magician in the ring.
Yeah, you don't need to be a Hariyoshi Tamagotchi. Not everyone needs to be a Hariyoshi Tamagotchi. Sometimes you need a Mandy Rose. Sometimes you need a what's his name? The baby oil guy from AEW that hangs out with Kenny and jerks him off.
I forget what's his name. The dude, Kenny's ball boy. There you go.
Yeah, Kenny's ball boy. The Nakazawa.
Michael Nakazawa. There you go.
Take a shower. Yeah.
Him. Yeah. There you go. Michael, take a shower. Okay. Next up, Matt. Where are we going? I think there's only one match left. I think it's just the one match left. But unless you want to talk,
we talked about the tag team match. We talked about the women's Money in the Bank match. We talked about both women's title matches. We talked about the U.S. title match.
Yes.
So the only match that's left to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is also a very big swallow from me because Matt Riddle fucking lost, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, I was worried the entire time. Every time he ascended the ladder, I was like, don't fucking do this to me. Don't fucking do this to me. Don't fucking do this to me. And mind you, I may have wished harm upon this man on Friday once or twice, and I will say that seeing as the injury bug slacking, that's a spit, but he lost, and that's what's important. Vince kind of got what he wanted from Friday. I don't know if you remember this, but you were saying, why not make the women's Money in the Bank 8 women and add Xia Li?
Right.
And we didn't get that, but they did make the men's Money in the Bank 8 men.
That's true.
And this was the point where I thought John Cena was coming out, because we were told he was in the building. We were told we might see him. So when Adam Pearce comes out and he's like, we're going to make it 8 men, I'm like, dude, Cena's going to come out. He's going to win Money in the Bank. He's going to fucking cash this motherfucker in. and prove Austin Theory wrong. And then that's where we're going to get the Cena Theory feud, because all Austin Theory did was talk shit about how John Cena failed to cash in the Money in the Bank before he didn't even qualify for the match. So Austin Theory got put in, and Austin Theory won, which, yeah, was it telegraphed that they put in a guy and then he won? Yeah, sure, absolutely. There was actually a very good chance a lot of those guys could have won. I am glad that they put it on someone who has never held the Money in the Bank before and could not easily be slotted into a championship match. That's how you build young stars and mid-carders. For all of you people who are like, oh, WWE doesn't build new stars. And now they're building new stars. You're like, why? Why do we have to give it to Austin Theory?
I could have
sworn, can't have both.
I felt like at the time when Seth Rollins won Money in the Bank, to me in my head, it's like he doesn't feel like a world champion. He doesn't even feel like coming close to that world title picture. But they built him up like I like to do with the Money in the Bank briefcase, because Edge is a perfect example. He's the blueprint. He was the first winner. They got it right from the jump. Follow that blueprint if you're a heel. Like, that's how you do it. Like, Miz, that's how he ascended to the WWE title picture. He's, as much as I dislike the Miz in certain aspects, I appreciate and I respect him, but I still don't look at him as
a main eventer.
Okay.
I think he is a great talent. I think he is a fantastic heel. I do not look at Miz as one of the guys that you can put in a match with Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns or any of these top guys and see him as believable. But he is still a two-time WWE champion.
Two-time Money in the Bank winner too. So there's that.
That's an asterisk.
Well, he's okay. So he's cashed in Money in the Bank twice successfully.
Yeah, no, they fucked over Otis at the height of his career.
I have a few things to unpack from that match. First off,
whip it out.
Here we go. I'm gonna go ahead for now, swallow the fact that Theory won, because he can be the Edge or the Rollins type of Mr. Money in the Bank, like I just illustrated. I like those. Like, I may not like Theory, but at least they're picking a guy and they're trying to push him and elevate him and like get him to that main event scene, which they haven't done since the Shield guys, by the way. They haven't done that since like the Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman, where they actually actively try to like push and elevate guys and create talent. You can make a case for Kevin Owens and like Finn Balor. Like, some of them didn't work out, but they didn't actually go out of their way. It's like, hey, we're gonna pick some guy and we're gonna just like follow through, you know? So I'm following that. I'm gonna gargle Theory being added last minute and winning. It makes sense, but I think he should have been added from the jump. And like, this is more so me just hating and spitting the fact that Madcap Moss was a wasted spot. And speaking of a wasted spot, I thought Omos was a wasted spot because I knew he wasn't going to win. But I am
Go ahead, finish.
But I am going to swallow the gangbang of Omos. I thought that was hilarious. Everyone got in their licks against Omos. The match was pretty good, despite the lack of enthusiasm on my part going into it. So there's that. Omos and Madcap Moss were the two guys in that match where I'm like, they shouldn't be here.
I'm going to disagree on Omos, and here's why.
Go ahead.
They normally have one guy like a Kane or something like that in these matches. And if Omos is going to shine in something, this was their chance to let him shine. Like, he doesn't have to do much.
Right.
He's there to take that big spot and be dominant and have guys dive and jump off him. All he's got to do is catch people, pick up a ladder. He can wipe out 5 guys with the ladder. He's big, he's opposing, but he doesn't have to go up the ladder and jump off and do crazy spots to get over. He just kind of has to exist in the match to get over. And the intrigue of when he goes to climb a ladder, him being so tall and not needing that tall of a ladder to get up there, it's less steps. Now, do I think they should have done it better with him? Yes. But do I think that it was a wasted spot for him? No. Madcap, absolutely. I never saw Madcap winning. I fucking hate the name Madcap. I don't understand. Like, I get that they like the guy, and if you really liked him, you do something better by him. You would have got rid of the whole gimmick and the name.
So his original name was Riddick Moss. What if they just call him Rick Moss?
Sure, why not?
Like, it'd be like a play, like very close to
Rick Ross. Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah, no,
okay,
I
thank you.
got it.
Thank you. It's not
He
the
could
best.
come out every day. He's hustling, trying to get a title shot every
There you
day.
go. There you go. And that's a gimmick I can get behind. But what I can't get behind is Katie getting my hopes up that Cena was there. I at no point. Okay, I'm spitting.
I
the
thought we
fact
were
that-
going to say names. Like I thought we were just.
Oh, because I don't have a name of who Katie's source was, but Katie goes into our group chat and gets my hopes up just to crush them and spit on them and stomp on my soul, my dreams, my hopes.
So she did to you what she's been asking Rhea and Zaya and everyone to do to her.
Yes, exactly. But instead
and
of
it's
my
not
face,
your fetish.
And it's not my fetish. I did not consent to this, by the way. But yeah, I'm spitting the fact that Katie got my hopes up, thinking it was Cena, and then just for it to be theory. It's. I at no point thought it was Cena. At no point did I even consider Cena until Katie's like, so I have it within word that I've been told that Cena's in the building, and they told me that
there is a very good probability that Cena is in the building.
Right.
Not that he was, not that it was guaranteed, that she was led to believe there is a very good chance. And Mr. Warren Hayes, if you were listening to this, that is what I was talking about when I said you should stick around to the end, because that is what I had heard when you said you were going to go watch The Boys. Yes, the latest episode of The Boys is good. Right. But what I was talking about, you might want to stick around for the end of the show, was Money in the Bank, because I thought Cena might show up. Yeah. Because we were led to believe that Cena might show up. Now, I wasn't going to name names or call anyone out.
No. I actually put it down in my notes. Like, I even put in the group chat, I blame you. I even put, like, the John Cena gift where it's like, I blame you. Nothing against Katie, but I need to blame someone. I need to take out and vent my frustrations against someone. And I chose Katie because she's the one that even got my thoughts of having Cena there. So that's all on Katie. But that's my last thing. The match was fine. The match was good. It was better than expected. And the Austin Theory, I'm not mad at him winning. And I'm pretty sure you're not mad at him winning, so long as the name of the winner wasn't Matt Riddle.
Anybody but Riddle. And when I said it, I fucking meant it. Anybody. I don't even fucking like Madcap Moss. As long as he won, I wouldn't have gave a shit. Omos, sure, why not? Anybody but Riddle. Hornswoggle could have came out from under the ring, ran up Omos's shoulders and grabbed the Money in the Bank. And as long as Riddle didn't win, I would have been happy dancing and celebrating, because he didn't deserve to be in the match. He didn't. He can't have a title shot against Roman Reigns. He lost his opportunity to do so. He lost his initial match to even get into the Money in the Bank.
Okay.
So he had no reason to be in there whatsoever.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I forgot to spit that on the show this week. I'm spitting the fact that Becky got like 2 shots to get in there. Like, it felt like she kept getting shots to either get in a title match or get into Money in the Bank. and I forgot to mention it too. I'm spitting Becky's temper tantrum like at the end. I'm just like, shut up, focus on Liv. This is her moment. But the cameraman kept cutting to like Becky like freaking out. Like, I don't give a fuck if Becky's having a midlife crisis.
I'm spitting the fact that they didn't show us the beatdown that Corbin and Pat McAfee had with each other, that apparently led to Pat McAfee being put in a neck brace. Really? And then he showed up at the UFC event after the show across the street in a neck brace with Vince, Stephanie, and Triple H, and they went and watched the end of the fights. But there was a brawl between Corbin and Pat McAfee after the show, and apparently a promo that we didn't get to see.
Maybe they'll air it on SmackDown or something.
I don't give a fuck. I tuned in to watch Money in the Bank. Don't cut off Money in the Bank when shit's going on.
Fair enough. I mean, it would have been better than just closing off the show with just Austin Theory taking a selfie with the briefcase on top of the
fuck yeah.
All right. I got everything covered for Money in the Bank. Is there anything else that you might have missed?
Yeah, let me take a look at my notes. The only thing I didn't talk about that I have in my notes is I am absolutely 100% convinced that green shirt guy in the front row, Vince at some point fucked his mom, and he gets those seats as part of the hush money agreement, because he is in the same seat every fucking show. Raw, SmackDown.
The dude that kind of looks like James Ellsworth?
Yeah, well, kind of. And then he wears the same green shirt with the smiley face on it. He had a tall, skinny friend that isn't there anymore. But he's at every fucking show. So either he's spending his mom's hush money on fucking WWE tickets, or that was part of the agreement, was like, all right, I won't say shit as long as my child gets to sit front row in this spot, and it's just like reserved for him, because I don't fucking understand it. But yeah,
I mean, it wouldn't be the
seeing
first
as hush
time.
money's a thing, I'm gonna believe that was part of a hush money settlement. Something happened.
Yeah, let's spread that narrative. Let's make that.
Hell yeah.
Let's believe that. All right. Well, Matt, plug the show's stuff.
You guys can follow me at Matt Ridders at MATTRIDDER on Twitter only, Twitter and Instagram, Smackin' Raw Pod. I run the Twitter, Vince runs the Instagram. Creation World is the banner under which the Smackin' Raw Pod exists. You can find them on Twitter and Instagram at the Creation World, THECREATIA World. Also, creationworld.com, facebook.com/Creation World. We got a Facebook group too. It's facebook.com/groups/Smackin' It Raw. We are the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. This is our shoot off for YouTube that has finally made its return, and I am happy to see it. We have a lot of content coming for you, some changes. Apparently, we've got a meeting later this month that Travis is demanding we all go and be a part of. So once that gets scheduled, you will see changes. And stay tuned, because July 22nd, Friday, July 22nd, will be the 5-year anniversary of the Smackin' Raw podcast. You are getting a new logo. You are going to see old faces. You are going to see familiar faces. We are going to run down 5 years of the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, from even before it was the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub. And it's not going to be a show you guys want to miss.
Exactly. We have some stuff lined up for it too. I don't know, we might plan some segments, some sweaty sessions, almost like offshoot of a sweaty sessions. Maybe we'll do like a 6-star picks. Maybe we could do a 6-star picks type thing towards the end.
I don't know if I can get everyone that I'm having come on the show to agree to that, but we'll see.
Well, we could just do like a freestyle one. We could do a freestyle one. But yeah, no. Like I was saying, Matt was saying this is the offshoot show of Smackin' Raw. It is indeed Spit or Swallow, the YouTube exclusive show from the Smackin' Raw and Creation World. Like I said at the top of the show, go ahead and subscribe on youtube.com/Creation World. We finally got that custom URL, but that shouldn't deter you from hitting that sub button. You know, maybe now you can hit a like button, or maybe you can comment down below. You can find me on social media everywhere at SES Vince. Hit the link tree in my bio. Will take you to the link tree, to the links for the YouTube, for the Spotify, for Straight Talk, Smackin' Raw, everything Vince Delgado, you will find in my link. Matt, I got nothing else. You got anything else?
Yeah, look at me. This shirt makes me look big as fuck. I am not this jacked. But if you want to look like I do, go get one of these fucking shirts, because they work miracles. I look like Master Roshi when he's all pumped up. Like, come on.
Oh yeah.
Get on it.
Get on it, guys. Get on it. Pro wrestling, pro choice, pro yoked, pro muscles. There you go. All right. Well, for the Warden Matt Ritter and the Sultan of Spirit Swallow, Daddy Delgado, this has been Spirit Swallow Money in the Bank edition. Oh, wait. Hold up. Before we sign off, overall, Money in the Bank, Spirit Swallow.
Overall, I'm going to swallow.
Same. I'm going to swallow Money in the Bank. I actually enjoyed the show, and it went by pretty quick. I like my shows ending before 10 p.m. Central Time, so that's always a plus.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So we'll catch you guys on the next episode, guys. We will see y'all later. Peace.
Peace.